Welcome to the Wealth and Wellness All Women Rock podcast, hosted by me, Tamara, the CEO and founder of All Women Rock Global. Join me on this journey as we explore topics, conversations, and interviews related to wealth and wellness. Let's get started. Hey girl, hey, we're back for another episode of the Wealth and Wellness podcast by All Women Rock Global. On today's episode, we'll be talking all things wellness. And the topic is suffering in silence. Today's affirmation is, I have the courage to heal. I have the courage to heal. If you want more of our affirmations, you can head over to Amazon and purchase our 31 Days of Affirmations ebook, or you can go to allwomenrock.com and pre-order our journal. Our affirmation one more time is, I have the courage to heal. We know that there is life and death in the power of our tongue, so we're speaking positive affirmations over our life. I have the courage to heal. All right. Again, our episode is suffering in silence. I was compelled to do this episode because of the recent passing of Twitch. There were so many people that were coming out saying, oh, Twitch was always so happy. This couldn't be true. He was always dancing. He loved his family. Just so many positive things. There is no way he could have killed himself. He could have suffered from depression or having suicidal thoughts. As someone that has previously been there, wanting to give up on their life, struggling with depression and anxiety, I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to put a smile on your face, inspire people, be happy, run a business, and still be suffering in silence, having thoughts of wanting to give up. Maybe I should just throw in a towel. I know what that feels like. So for me to hear people say, oh, he was always so happy. No, I can't see that. You never know what people are going through. You never know what past trauma or current trauma that they're dealing with. You never know what thoughts are going through their head. You never know. And that's why we have so many people that suffer in silence. I want to first start off by acknowledging why people suffer in silence. The first one is fear of judgment. It could be fear of judgment from family, friends. A lot of times we have high expectations from our family. I was recently having a conversation with a friend as well as my mother, and we were discussing how in some of the African American Black community, we can be so critical and so judgmental. There are so many sayings that are in our community that came from generations ago, and we feel like they're okay to say, but they're not always okay and fitting, because you never know what somebody could be going through, or it could be a joyous occasion in their lives. And you come with this saying that you heard your grandmother, great grandmother say, and it actually hurts, but I don't know how to say that to you, because I know that that's something that we always say in our community. And we have to be careful with the words that we say to people. You never know what someone is going through. So we suffer in silence because of fear of being judged, fear of being talked about. We have high expectations in our family. The next one is fear of vulnerability. I can't open myself up and share what I'm going through because of my fear of being vulnerable. I don't know how to be vulnerable. And some of us don't know how to be vulnerable because we have this perfectionism personality trait where we feel like that's not me. I can't open myself up. I can't allow my emotions to come out. I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to cry because we have a fear of being vulnerable. No one will understand what I'm going through. I'm just going to deal with this on my own. So we suffer in silence. And we allow those toxic thoughts of, no one will understand. I just got to get through this myself. It'll be okay. Instead of just being vulnerable, finding a therapist to talk to, finding a support group to go to. The third reason that we suffer in silence because no one cares, or we're going to get temporary visitation. Temporary visitation is when someone is there in the heat of the moment. when it's just now happening. For instance, when there's a death in a family or someone is sick or going through a terrible illness, you're there when it happened. You're only there for a temporary visitation. But after this person has to progress and go on with their lives, go through holidays, dealing with this trauma, illness, whatever it may be, you're nowhere to be found. And this happens a lot when people experience death in their families. You're there when the news break. You're there for the funeral. You have the flowers. You have the cards. You have the words of encouragement. You're giving them hugs and kisses. Afterwards, you're there a week or two. But what happens a month, 2 months, Christmas, holidays, anniversaries, birthdays? Where are you? Are we there for that person? Or it's like, or when they call you, are you there? We can't put people on temporary visitation. And that's the reason why a lot of people aren't vulnerable or feel like I'm not going to share what I'm going through, because I just feel like they're just going to be there for the heat of the moment. You have to I'll say this, you never know when it's your turn. You never know when the tables are turned and you're there. You could tell somebody, hey, just call me anytime, girl, I'll be there. Just call me. I'll just be a listening ear. But what happens when they are by themselves and they're struggling and they know you got a family, you got kids, you have a life, and I'm afraid to reach out to you because you got something going on. They're just suffering in silence. I won't reach out to you because I know you got all this going on. Why don't you be the person to reach out? Don't always tell someone, just call me, girl, I'll be there. No, you reach out. You reach out until they tell you you're calling me too much. You're texting me too much. Let them know that you are there. I cannot stand when people do that. Just call me. Just text me. No, you call and text. You be the person. You never know when those tables are turned and the shoe is on the other foot, and you need someone to be there, and you don't need temporary visitation. You need a constant friend that's always there, always reaching out, even if it's just to hold a phone. Even if it's just to hold a phone until that person falls asleep. You never know. But I don't want us to suffer in silence, because another reason that we suffer in silence is because we're afraid to share our open wounds to certain people. I know you might be, and I want you to be careful of that. If you are someone that's currently suffering in silence, be careful who you share your open wounds to. I know you might be thinking, how can I go through this terrible time and then go on a hunt to find out who to share it with? Most of the time, we know who to share our personal business with, and we don't. But if you don't, I want you to think about those previous conversations you had with this person. Are they always sharing someone else's business? Do they always have some negative to say to other people? Or is it always negative all around? Think about the previous conversation when Sally went through what she was going through. Were they quick to tell you about that? Don't share your open wounds to everyone. You can't. If the answer is yes to any of those questions, keep it to yourself. Find a support group or a therapist to talk to. And I know it's sad. A lot of times we have to suffer in silence because some of our closest family members and friends are negative Nathans and negative Nancys. We often have to go through the hardest times in our life without sharing with our family because we're afraid they're going to throw salt on those open wounds. So I'll go over those again. We suffer in silence. And this episode is it's not even necessarily for people that are going through something, that are suffering in silence. This is for people that you might not be suffering right now. But again, the shoe might be on the other foot tomorrow. And you might feel like, I got to suffer in silence. No, you don't. And here's why people suffer in silence. Fear of judgment, fear of being vulnerable, fear of temporary visitation, fear of my business will be shared with everyone. Or number 5, we have family and friends that are negative Nathans, negative Nancys. Next, we'll discuss what suffering and silence leads to. It leads to our thoughts, our feelings, and emotions start to spiral. I've said this previously before. You have 30 seconds to change a thought before a thought changes into an emotion. Our subconscious, oh my God, she is so powerful. So powerful. If you don't remember anything from this episode, remember you got 30 seconds to change a thought before it turns into an emotion, and from an emotion to an action and a feeling. 30 seconds. We suffer in silence. When we suffer in silence, it leads to our thoughts just spiraling, just constantly going. It's on autopilot by then. I got to end this. I got to give up because nothing is working. Especially when we're in toxic relationships, we're in toxic situations. That's the only thing you could think about. Nothing is working. You have tunnel vision at that point. Nothing is working. Suffering in silence also leads to depression, anxiety, and isolation because you feel like nobody else is going through this. Nobody else will understand. I cannot reach out to anyone. But I don't want you to suffer in silence. I want you to move forward and let go of that toxic thought, toxic generational habits of just getting through it on your own. As I stated, the first way for us to move forward and stop suffering in silence, affirmations. You can do affirmations, and I want you to remember, I'm going to say it again, you got 30 seconds from a thought, a feeling, an action. 30 seconds. Your subconscious is very powerful. It takes on whatever you feed it. Whatever you are feeding it constantly, whether it's negativity, drama, gossip, inspiration, affirmations, positivity, Bible verses, quotes, books, whatever it is, I'm taking it in. You have to be more aware of your subconscious. Your subconscious feeds into your conscious. We can also move forward through meditations and visualization. As you start meditating, one thing that will help you stay focused is taking deep breaths in and releasing them, and consistently visualizing yourself in a better situation. I know a lot of people might be thinking, I can't do meditations. I can't do any of that. You can. I promise you, you can. You first start off by taking deep breaths in. If you got to do 3 deep breaths and blow them out. Take a deep breath in your nose and let it out through your mouth. Do it 3 times. And then from there, even if you have to start off with 3 minutes, 2 minutes, take your deep breaths in and take them out. And as you're doing that, close your eyes. Be in a moment of stillness with no distractions, no phones, no nothing. Start visualizing yourself in a better situation. Whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest, whether it be a new career, more money, start visualizing yourself in a better situation. Next, we can stop suffering in silence by finding a support group. You are not alone. Especially on Facebook, if you're uncomfortable with sharing your information, there are so many support groups out there. I remember I have an autoimmune disorder, HS, and I was like, there couldn't be a support group for this. And there actually is. And it has been so helpful within my health, changing my eating habits and finding out what my triggers are. I would have never known any of this. I would have been continuing to suffer in silence if I had not found this support group. Sometimes you can be in a support group and you can just see the comments of people that are going through the same thing that you are. They're suffering with the same thing. And just to see the different comments and different methods people are doing to heal themselves or change their eating habits or figuring out what's causing this thing to come up in their life, you never know. Find you a support group. Find a support group. Another thing that you can do to help yourself, do you like journaling? If you feel like meditation isn't for me, visualization is not for me, I don't know if I want to find a support group. What about journaling? Journaling 5 to 10 minutes a day. It does not matter. 5 to 10 minutes a day. Especially if you love writing. When those thoughts begin to creep up, just write. Just write. I know for me, journaling has been very helpful to me. And it don't even necessarily have to be journaling positivity all the time, I'm going to be honest with you. During a season in my life where I felt like everything was falling apart, in my journal, I remember writing one time, God, I can't trust you, nor can I trace you. You might be thinking, oh my God, that is so awful. How dare you write something like that? He knows our thoughts anyway. He knows our hearts. He's just waiting on us to be honest with him. There's no sugarcoating needed with God. But just being able to write out what I am feeling can be very therapeutic. So if writing is your thing, journal 5 to 10 minutes a day. When those thoughts start creeping up, start writing. And it will be very beneficial if you start your day with journaling or either end it. And you have to be consistent with it. Get the help that you need. Also, the next thing that we can do to stop suffering in silence is get help. Reach out to a therapist. BetterHelp is one that I see promoting all the time. Get a therapist. And when you get one, I know it can be intimidating. I know it can be hard to being able to open up to a stranger about my things that I'm going through. Give them at least 1 to 2 tries. You don't like that one, find you another. And I know with BetterHelp, you can find a therapist tailored to whatever your preferences are. If you want someone that puts God first, you can find a therapist for that. If you want someone that is for the LGBT community, you can find a therapist on there for anything that's tailored to your accommodations, your likings, whatever it may be. This is not a promotion for BetterHelp in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but I know I see it a lot, and I have personal friends that have used BetterHelp that has been helpful in their lives. So get therapy. And even I know a lot of people tend to think, well, I got God, I don't need therapy. God put those people, you have these professions for a reason. One of my friends, she's a pastor, and I'm very close with her. She is therapy. You think people that are in leadership in churches don't get therapy? We have those people in professions for a reason. Do what works best for you. Stop suffering in silence. So again, how we can move forward and stop suffering in silence. Speak words of positivity. You got 30 seconds to change a thought from an emotion to a feeling, and then an action. The second one I mentioned is meditations and visualization. The third one is finding a support group. You are not alone. Go on Facebook and find you a support group. You don't have to post anything. Say, hi, my name is. You don't have to do any of that. As soon as you get in there, you'll be able to see people that are going through the same thing that you're going through. The fourth one we discussed was getting help. Find a therapist to help us, especially when we have those real toxic thoughts that are leading to depression and wanting us to give up on our lives. Get the help that you need. I also want you to let go of, sometimes we kind of suffer in silence because of this idea of perfectionism and judgment. I want you to know the people you are afraid of being judged by has skeletons in their closet too. Some of us are just better at hiding them than others. Friends and family do not have the final say-so in your life. Their fake and false expectations do not matter. So what, you didn't take the career that they wanted you to? So what, you made a mistake? So what, you got fired? So what, you lost your job? So what, you are not currently where you want to be in life, where you thought you should be? So what? Their opinions and limiting beliefs do not matter. They carry no weight. We are not trying to live our lives up to someone else's expectations. Live your life on your terms. If you are constantly surrounded by family and friends that create false realities of perfectionism and judging people, it's time to change our circle. I love to say, put on your coach hat, get your whistle, and call them out of the game. They are no longer part of the starting five. Sit them on the bench. They're going to have to sit out the remainder of the game and watch you win from the sidelines. It's time for you to start living on your own terms. Let go of perfectionism and judgment. Letting go of perfectionism is something that I have struggled with badly. I feel like through every season of my life, different things that have changed, God is constantly reminding me to let it go. Mistakes will be made. Mistakes will be made. I'll say it again. Mistakes will be made. Everything will not go as we plan, but do not allow that to distract you or cause you to want to quit. We have to heal. We have to learn from our mistakes and keep pressing forward. Perfectionism is something you have to truly look at within yourself and find out, where is this coming from? Where is this taking root in my life? Where did this idea of things had to be perfect, or from a failure if I don't get it right? Sometimes it comes from our parents creating this illusion within us that you have to get it right. You got to make all A's. You can't make B's. You can't have C's. I was talking to a friend recently and she was like, I don't allow C's in my house. So what? What does it make you a better person because you make all A's? Like what? Sometimes you can have these high expectations for your kids to be the best of the best, and that might not be what they want. Everything in life will not work out as you have planned. As I stated, this illusion sometimes comes root from our family, and you never know. I don't want you to go around being mad and upset with your family, because you never know what expectations were put on them. You never know what demons that they're fighting in their lives. But it has to stop somewhere, and it has to stop with you. Letting go of this illusion that they have created in your lives. We end carrying these thoughts and falsehoods into our adulthood and struggle when life does not go our way. We attend college, we get a career, get a job, an apartment, business, whatever it may be. It starts hitting us. We lose our job. Finances are rocky. Grades are slipping. Relationships are falling apart. Whatever it is, it's not perfect anymore. The plans are not going how we expected, and we do not know how to deal with failure at this point. Perfectionism can be overwhelming and crippling because it prevents us from wanting to get up and try again. Sometimes we dwell so hard on what did not work, we are no longer focused on getting up and trying again. Let go of perfectionism. Let it go. Even if you're trying to build a business, you're saying, hey, I'm finna start the new year with my business. I need this, I need that, I need that. None of that will be perfect. Use what you have now. Let go of perfectionism. Do not carry that trait in your lives, in your kids' life. It's okay. So what you gotta see? So what? So what you failed at that? By that, when you start saying things like that, okay, you didn't get that right, but I know you got the confidence to get up and try again. Build resilience in your kids, not perfectionism. None of us are perfect. Stop trying to live up to social media expectations, family expectations, other people you see excelling as a business owner expectations. You don't know their skeletons. You don't know what they're dealing with, what they're going through, what they went through. Stop trying to live up to that. Live your life, your business on your terms. Letting go of perfectionism has been a lifelong lesson for me, but being okay with my mistakes, I learned it was something that I read this book by Jenny Allen, Nothing to Prove, that helped me during my process of being okay with the mistakes I make, being okay with me trying to hold everything and hoping everything will work out, being okay with all of that. Jenny states in her book, unrealistic expectations we impose on ourselves are in motion from nearly the moment we enter the world. We learn young that the harder we work and the better we perform, the more rewards and applause we get. We learn to win at everything. Life is not like that. That is so unrealistic. She goes on to say we can't go our entire lives with burdens we won't share. They are taking us down. This book, I will say, is more about your daily struggles of not being enough. We all carry baggage. She talks about the baggage that we carry. She also provides advice on finding freedom through Jesus, but her scenarios of perfectionism, having nothing to prove, and always trying to measure up are so profound. The book itself is profound, and it was so helpful for me as I was trying to let go and feel like I don't have anything to prove to anyone. Letting go of perfectionism is also letting go of always trying to control the situation. We're always trying to control the outcome. We think it is putting We think if we put in this amount of work, we should be able to control the outcome, but it won't always go that way. And a lot of times it hurt like hell when it don't. I put in this amount of work. I put in this amount of effort. And this is all I got on return. It hurts. I want you to stop suffering in silence and know defeat does not have the final say so. It hurts like hell, but we can't stay in hurt. It's okay to experience our emotions of sadness, guilt, crying, or hell, maybe even anger. But don't allow those emotions to fester long, because they'll start taking root in our lives and our personalities. Once they start forming in our personalities, we start experiencing hurt, and then we start hurting other people. We all heard the saying, hurt people hurt people. You begin to take on all these feelings out on family, friends, co-workers, managers, or maybe even strangers, or possibly even your customers. Stop hurting people. Stop bleeding on people. Find an outlet to deal with what you're going through. As I stated, we can stop suffering in silence by getting help. Find a therapist. Journal. Listen to podcasts. Writing. Find a supportive network online. I want you to know you are not alone. That's another reason that we suffer in silence that was not even in my notes. We feel like we are alone. No one knows what I am going through. No one has experienced what I'm going through. You are not alone. You are not the first to go through this. You're not the first to have these thoughts. You're not the first to deal with depression. You're not the first to deal with anxiety. You're not the first to deal with hurt, rejection, being abandoned. You're not the first, and you won't be the last. Stop holding all that baggage on your own. Suffering in silence is too big of a burden to carry alone. Our subconscious is a beast, and whatever we constantly give her, she feeds on it, and it starts producing fruit in our lives. Those thoughts of my life is out of control. I don't want to appear weak. I'm tired of failing. I've messed up again. I can't believe I let this happen. I will never be able to move forward from this. Stop. Tell those thoughts stop and start changing your thought process immediately. Find the help you need. Stop delaying it. Stop suffering in silence. You are not alone. You're not the only person that has ever felt like this. Don't walk around with all of that baggage by yourself. Lay it down. Even if you got to take a little bit out at a time. Take a little bit out at a time. Sometimes we don't want to share because, as I stated, because of past hurt. You can't go around with all that trauma and baggage, dealing with it by yourself. Find your form of self-care. Find your form of what brings you peace. It don't have to look like mine, but whatever brings you peace. If you feel like podcasting, blogging, going on YouTube, whatever it may be, find your support network. You never know. Even if you feel like I got to go out here by myself and share what I'm going through. Because I haven't been able to find that network. You just might be the person that forms the network that bring other people that are suffering in silence, that are going through the same thing that you are, that hadn't had the courage to stand up and say, hey, me too. So before I leave, I want you to know that healing will take time. This will not be an overnight process. It wasn't an overnight process, the things that you went through. So stop feeling like you're going to heal in a day. You have to learn how to take it day by day. Think about this. If you injure your leg and you need a knee replacement surgery, after the doctor finishes up, will you immediately be able to get up and walk again? Do you just immediately get up right after surgery and just start walking again? The answer is no. You are sent home with pain pills, antibiotics, and a healing routine and follow-up doctor's appointments. It will take time for your knee to heal. It is not an overnight process. You got therapy appointments you have to go to. The doctor got to look at x-rays to see what's healing, what's not, what we need to do. There is post-op care. So stop feeling like, oh, I went to therapy one day. This person needs to heal my mind immediately. It will not work that way. It takes time to heal. Take it day by day. Just say, hey, I'm just focused on Tuesday. If I can get through Tuesday, I'm good. I'm not worried about Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, next week. Just take it one day at a time. Use the tools that they give you. That's another thing. Use the tools they give you. You can't just get knee replacement surgery and not be willing to put in the work that has been given to you to make your knee heal and get better so you can walk again and not experience all this pain that you went through with this trauma. Use what has been given to you. Use those tools, those assets, whatever type of therapy you go through, whether it's journaling, listen to a podcast, watching sermons on YouTube, use it. Don't just lay it there and move forward. You have to use what has been given to you on more than one occasion for you to start seeing the healing, for you to start experiencing the healing. Do not give up. Do not walk around suffering in silence. You are not alone. And even if you are not suffering in silence right now, it could be me today and you tomorrow. Always remember that. Until next time. If you made it this far in the episode, it shows you are interested and committed. If you want more of Wealth and Wellness, tune in every Tuesday for a new episode. I would love for you to subscribe and share. Your experience on this show means a lot to me. I want to welcome you to click the link in the show notes to leave us a comment or a question. It's speakpipe.com/allwomenrock. The link is listed in the show notes. You never know, you just might be on our next episode. Be sure to follow us on all social media channels at All Women Rock Global. Until next time.